Hey guys, what's going on? It's Don here from Novaspirit Tech and welcome back to the channel. And today we're going to be checking out the Cloner Alliance View Pro with its own 7-inch screen external HDMI capture device. So let's get started. Now, I do want to thank Cloner Alliance for sending this over to me for review, and everything we talk about will be linked down in the description below. Now, I'm no stranger to using Cloner Alliance products because I've actually purchased their products before years ago to actually do HDMI capturing. So when they reached out to me to review this unit, I jumped on that opportunity. Now, the main capture device that I normally use is this Cloner Alliance Evolve. So if you've seen anything that I have done on this channel that involves BIOS, screens, anything that has to do with screen recording, it's actually taken with this guy over here. This is its own standalone HDMI capture device where you could just stick a USB in here or a micro SD card and it'll record everything through this device without needing a PC. That's mainly what I use these devices for, because a lot of times I don't have the PC running OBS or anything, or during a boot screen or a BIOS screen, you need to be able to capture that. These are the devices that does it. Now, I also use their other product, which is the Cloner Alliance Flint. This is a USB 3.0 HDMI capture device up to 4K, and I mainly use this for my PC upstairs to capture most of the bigger installs that you see on my channel where I do a lot of time lapse on, because it just takes so much time and I can't sit in front of the computer. But this allows me to put this on the PC that I'm using, run OBS, and let it run for hours if I needed to, because I have the storage and the ability to capture through OBS. So these are the two main ones that I use generally because for different scenarios. Now, the latest product in this lineup incorporates everything that I need, including the screen. That's one thing that's missing from my entire setup, that basically you need a screen to see what you're capturing. And sometimes the setup is a nuisance to put a monitor up, put the capture device in just to capture the things that you need to. So they resolved that issue by installing a 7-inch screen onto this guy and making it portable. While this is a 7-inch screen, it does have a scalable resolution of 4K. So you can actually capture 1080, 60 frames per second, and vice versa between the modes. Like the Cloner Alliance Evolve, it also has the ability to capture on here with the SD card or a USB, but now it actually supports NTFS and also exFAT, so you could store the larger files, while this one still uses the FAT32 where you get 4GB chunks. Now, I've been using this for the past 3 weeks, so any video that you've seen me capture, either gameplay or desktop, is done by this guy, and it actually comes out pretty good. If you want to review those videos as well, you can, but I will put some clips over here just to show you guys how it would look like. Now, I am using the mid-tier bitrate, which is more than enough for my setup because I don't have a lot of screens flashing back and forth or moving a lot. So the mid-range setup actually looks pretty good. While you can go for the high bitrate setup, which causes the file to be double the size, it is fine as well, just depending on the SD card or the memory card you are using. This also has the ability to capture to PC. Now, it does use a micro USB 2.0, so you're not going to get instant frames like I am using with the USB 3 over here on the Flint, but it does work with OBS and you can transfer files as well. Now, the power input is 12 volts. It also has the ability to slap in a battery, which is the Sony 570s or the 970s or something like that, 550s. Now, you can also see that I have this on a stand right now. So it does have the 3/8 screw on the bottom, the ones that you would use for a camera, and you could put it on a tripod, or this little thing that it comes with, which is also a tripod. Now, to talk about the connections on top, we do have a 12-volt barrel connector, micro USB to PC connector, HDMI output, then a VGA audio input, HDMI input, and then another input for VGA and also S-Video. Then you have the button for LCDs and then the power button. Now, on the bottom, you have line in, mic in, and then also line out. This also has a built-in speaker inside, so it's not necessary that you need a line out to hear the audio, so you can use this as a mobile display with audio out. Now, one of the things about this is that you cannot clone the video, if that makes sense. When you have HDMI out to a monitor, this screen will turn off and will not display anything. So you can't have a mirrored screen if that's what you're thinking. So the only time that this screen will be active is when there's nothing in the HDMI out. Now, this still retains the problem that I've been having with all the other devices like the Evolve, where the audio input is still mixed into the same audio track as the HDMI input, which I wish they would have separated, because having two audio tracks when you're recording a mic in and also the audio from the actual signal would be a lot better. So I could delete the audio track if I need to, or delete the mic track if I needed to. But no, once you have it plugged in, the mic will be meshed in with the same track, which is quite annoying because I do have to unplug this sometimes to just record a clean audio from whatever I'm capturing through the HDMI. Another problem that I have is that the mic and also the line in pass through to the speakers. So when I have my mic hooked up and a speaker hooked up, you will hear yourself echoing through the speaker. Especially when I'm trying to record video, it will actually pick it up and make that screeching noise. So I can't record anytime with this with the audio in unless I have headphones on. This way it won't echo back. But again, you will hear yourself through the pass-through, and I wish there was a way to disable that. Now there is a way to mute the mic, but it actually mutes everything through the track, so it won't capture your mic input. So that doesn't work either if you need to be lining up your audio or hearing your mic through it. So those were my biggest problems with this device, as well as the old device. Other devices that I've checked, they don't have that problem where the mic will actually not pass through to the speaker. But again, they still have the same problem with the audio tracks. It does record in MP4, and I'll leave the format right here. And that's about it. It actually does a really good job at recording and displaying whatever I need to display on the screen. This works especially well for this channel because I do a lot of Raspberry Pi or SBC boards where most of the time I have to set up a secondary monitor, wait for whatever I'm doing and record that capture. And it's really a big headache just to get set up, especially when I'm using it in a different room or I'm not here directly and I have to move my monitor somewhere else. This gives me a huge range of possibilities because I could just hook this up, especially if I'm trying to diag a computer or diag something and I don't want to hook up a monitor. Now I have a portable 7-inch monitor that has ability to capture everything, which makes my job 10 times easier. Along the package contents, which I haven't talked about in the beginning, is that you do get the barrel connector, you do get an HDMI cable. What I do like is that they actually come with this really cool case that this whole thing slides into. It's very soft fabric. It's got a little button on the top so you could just hook it up together and it won't fly out. And this makes it extremely portable and safe to carry this around if you need to. The VGA cable that it comes with also includes the S-videos, or I would say I forgot what that called. It's like 3 different inputs, blue, green, red, yellow, and then white and red for audio, or the VGA input for your VGA devices. This is the first time I ever had a capture device that actually will capture VGA, which is going to be great if I'm doing anything that's server related that only has VGA output. It also comes with a remote that I have not even opened yet. And that's because it doesn't really need it because of all the buttons you have up in front. The micro USB cable, that's basically it on all the contents that it comes with. Now let's check out the menus for a little bit. One thing that I really like about this device is that I could actually watch the playback of what I recorded to see if I captured what I needed to or did it properly through this device itself without having to pull out the SD card and slapping it into a computer just to test. So it saves a lot of time in that reviewing footage. In the menu itself, you could actually have a couple of display options where you could show the time. You could change the resolution, recording resolution, because it will scale it. If you have a 4K and you need the recording resolution to be 1080, it will scale it down to 1080, or you could scale it up, which it's up to you on what you do. You got your bit rate, which is mid-range. You could go high, you could go low. So it all depends. I'm just keeping it on middle because I'm not doing a lot of graphical interfaces, so I don't need the high bit rate. File size is 4 gig. You could go up to 16 gig depending on the SD card you have, and I have a 16 gigabyte SD card in here, so it says 16 gig. And you do need exFAT or NTFS for the 16 gigabyte version. Loop recording is if you are full on the storage, it could actually go through the whole cycle of erasing the first footage and stuff like that. Show recording, which I always do, so I know it's actually recording. It will say it on the top left. Time watermark I turn off, and unless you really need how long the time is on what you're recording, then you would put it on. I might use that feature in the future if I'm trying to do a time lapse and kind of show a timestamp of how long this recording is. System time, which I should have adjusted, but I just left it as default. And then you have your brightness, contrast, saturation. Then you have your normal stuff with your decoder update, encoder update, and if you want to restore everything back to normal. You have your audio options here, which is your HDMI volume, the mic volume, then your line in volume, which max on line in is only 10. And then you got your speaker volume because it has built-in speakers. line out volume, and then your line out mix. Then you have your schedule recording. So if you're actually using this for a TV device or not something on your computer that you want to schedule a recording, you can do it with this device, and along with most of the devices that they already have. So that is it, guys. That's the latest Cloner Alliance View Pro with a built-in 7-inch screen. Again, I've been using it for the past 2 weeks and I have zero issues with it so far. I've used it in both modes, where I would pass through this to a monitor and then record, or I would use this as a standalone just so I could do some side recording on my own without needing a monitor. So they both work very well. The only gripe that I had when I talked about it earlier was that little mic issue, having it's on a separate track and also passing through to the speaker. I wish they had the ability to actually just stop the pass through to the speaker so I could actually hear the audio from the HDMI input without having to hear my own voice through the mic. And having it separate tracks would be great, so for editing purposes you could, modify, edit just that track without having to modify every single bit of audio on that one track. Now if you guys have any questions about this, hit me up in the comments down below. Everything will be down in the description as well if you guys are interested in picking this one up. And if you guys are new to this channel, consider subscribing and also hit that bell notification icon so you know when the next video is going to be out. And as I say in my nerd cave, hack till it hurts.